Hello my friend, I hope this video finds you well. Today we've got 20 of the most downloaded, popular, talked about free instrument plugins around and one or two swerve balls of more obscure ones which I rate or have used successfully over the years. And we're going to kick things off with Ample P Bass Lite. Let's bring this one in. Nice looking plugin this. All of these are 100% free. You can grab all of these right now. This basically is, if you're looking for a very realistic electric precision Fender bass sound, then kind of look no further. I've got this and I've got the full fat version, and really not wanting to upset any bass players, but it's kind of bass. This does the job. So if you're looking for a decent realistic electric bass sound and you don't have a decent electric bass, you can grab this for free. Of course, it's very easy to work with, being MIDI, so you can lay down bass lines very simply. It's great for sketching stuff out. I can't really say anything bad about it. It's very, very popular. If you don't have it, particularly if you don't have a bass, I think it's a bit of a must get. So I'm going to stick it in the top of our tiers, which is Pluck Yeah. Below there we've got definitely a keeper, half tempo hero, strung out, and right at the bottom we've got Catastrophe. But kicking things off on this ranking list, Ample P Bass Lite, it's definitely Pluck Yeah. Sticking with Ample sounds, and we've got their Ample Guitar M2 Lite, their other free offering of I think a Martin Dreadnought. Sounds really good. Obviously, if you play guitar like I do, you're probably not going to be reaching for this plugin. Can be a bit fiddly. It has like a clever strumming engine in it and stuff. So if you don't play at all and you want some pretty realistic acoustic guitar, this is well worth checking out. I do find it a little bit fiddly compared to the bass because you've got 6 strings, so you've got to be doing more things, and the strumming, even though it sounds very good and it's cleverly worked out, is still a real bit of a pain in the egg compared to strumming my guitar. So if you don't play and you want some pretty decent steel strung guitar sounds, this is well worth checking out. But because it can get a bit fiddly, I'm going to put it just down one from Pluck Yeah, in definitely a keeper. Moving on, we've got Cheeze Machine 2 from Together Audio. So this isn't in loads and loads of lists, but I really rate this synth and I use it on a lot. Online says it's a vintage string machine emulation. It's simple, nostalgic, and great for retro pads, but not particularly flexible. I'd say, whilst it's not, I guess, particularly flexible, it is, or a lot of the presets and sounds in it are very, very usable. And I've put it under a lot of mixes. Put it in a lot of mixes where I thought real strings would work, but I actually prefer the sound of this thing. It sounds quality, like another one of Together Audio's free offerings that we'll have a look at in a bit. And for actually hands-on, having used it in a number of mixes, I'm going to put it in the definitely a keeper. Moving on, we've got our first drum, but not our last, first free drum plugin. DrumTastic, quite a straightforward one, this one. Basic drum instrument with usable kits, fairly limited realism and controls compared to newer free drum kit plugins. Nothing really wrong with this plugin, but are there better ones right now for free? Yes, there are, and for that reason I'm going to pop it down into strung out. Moving on to DSK Brass. I'm actually going to include all of the DSK plugins under the kind of this DSK Brass image. The Brass one is a free library, sounds dated, definitely looks dated, but still useful for basic brass stabs and sketches is what's being said online. This thing's been around for absolutely ages. DSK have got a whole load of free instruments, which could be handy for quick sketching of ideas, although things have moved on a lot since these free plugins came out. I remember when they kind of were first out and it was kind of exciting. You could use them for free. I think very dated unless you really you really don't have any instruments and you want it for sketching, I think there's better examples out there. So I'm going to put DSK brass down in strung out. And we're going to move on to the first of my kind of swerve balls, and it's Edirol Orchestral. Any of you guys remember Edirol Orchestral? Let me know in the comments box below. I absolutely loved this plugin. I loved it. It's a real pain now to install. I think there's ways to do it with patches. If you've got the time and you've done it, let me know in the comments. Old school orchestral rumpler, not very realistic by modern standards, says the net, but lightweight and fast for mock-ups. The clever thing with this, as I remember, is they took like a 3 or 4 second sample and looped it for all these samples, and they got away with it sounding really quite realistic, but not absolute, with this way of doing it, not absolutely killing your CPU. It was very, very usable and quite musical. You could get stabs, and it was useful for pop music. You can get a lot of the stuff out of this, I used to find, that I can't get with other free or even paid orchestral offerings. Just really liked this, and I miss it. I think I'd still use it now if I had it, because going in a guitar mix, for example, I've still got recordings on my album which I did over 10 years ago, around that time, which sounds like strings, certainly plenty realistic enough, and plenty of other orchestral instruments too, which were very convincing. Edirol Orchestral, if you can get it running, is an absolute belter, and I'm still going to put it up at the top. Pluck, yeah. Next up, we've got Shreddage 3 just here. Extremely realistic bass guitar engine, which uses the contact player, but you can use it with the free contact player, so it's not going to cost you any more. Limited articulation set, being a free offering, but a great tone, says online. Yeah, it's a great sounding plugin. If you don't play, again, guitar, very much like the Ample Sound stuff, because I do play, it's a bit harder for me to kind of get my head around using it, because I just grab one of my guitars. But I totally get it. This thing does sound very realistic. Can be a little bit fiddly, I found, like using the Ample Sound, but I might be a little bit prejudiced again because I play. But it sounds great, and you know, if you don't play guitar and you want it in your recording, you can grab this for free. It's definitely a keeper. Moving on, another bit of a swerve ball, which is MK Merlitzer. Tiny little plug-in, this one. Electric piano style instrument, decent tone, but not as deep or polished as newer electric piano plugins. Well, I used this a while back on a project because I didn't have an electric piano, and this was about the best Rhodes keys I could find. It's like crazy light on your CPU, and I think it sounds pretty damn good, and it's really easy as well. It's really, really straightforward. Just plug it in and off you go. I'm going to stick it in half tempo hero because I've got a feeling there might be a newer, better offering to come up a little bit later on in the chart. If you're enjoying this chart, if you're enjoying this ranking video, please do remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments what your favorite free instrument plugins are. Do you agree with any of these? Do you disagree with any of these? Let me know. Love to hear from you, especially when it's new stuff I don't know about, which would be well worth me downloading. So moving on to MODO drums. This looks just great for free, and there's a lot of good free drum offerings around at the moment. Physically modelled drums with impressive realism. Free version is limited to a single kit, but still powerful. I always think with things like this, when they're limited to a single kit, is that necessarily such a bad thing? Because, you know, back in the day, if you were recording your drummer, they'd usually have just a single kit. We weren't, you know, we couldn't afford studios where we'd be switching out snares all morning. It would be the drummer brings the kit in and you'd record it down. So being limited to a single kit isn't necessarily a bad thing. I hear very good things about MODO drums. I haven't used it myself. I hear you can dive quite deeply into MODO drums. How deeply you can in the free version, I don't know. Let me know if you do. But it certainly looks the business, and as I say, I hear really good things about it. So I'm going to stick it up in definitely a keeper, and move on to another drum plugin, which is MT Power Drum Kit 2, one I have used. One of the most popular free drum kit plugins ever. Punchy rock drums with built-in grooves. The story goes with MT Power Drum Kit 2 that it was made to be a paid-for plugin, but the project ran out of steam or whatever happened, I don't know. And it sounds pretty good. Doesn't sound great, but it's certainly usable. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as Addictive Drums I use. But if you're starting out and you wanted a rock drum kit that's not going to cost you any money, this is definitely worth grabbing, I'd say. It also has a built-in groove engine to it as well, so it's got a little sequencer, so you can build up grooves in it and drag and drop them into your MIDI as well. So it's pretty big for free. So if you're looking for a half-decent rock drum kit, then it's well worth checking out. Is it the best sounding free drum kit out there right now? No, but it's free and it'll certainly get you started. Okay, so we're back to talking about Rhodes pianos here, and what I think is probably the best one out there you can get for free. If you know better, let me know below. Warm vintage electric piano with character, great for soul, lo-fi, funk and chill tracks. It looks a bit nicer as well than the previous MT Merlitzer, and I think it takes the prize as best free Rhodes piano, and you can get that one from NoiseAsh, and I'm going to put that right up indefinitely a keeper. And we're going to move on to one of the giants of free instrument plugins, and that's Labs. Was from Spitfire Audio. I think it's now merged in with Splice. It's a massive free library of high quality sampled instruments. It covers everything from strings to experimental textures. There's a really good piano in there. There's a lot of good sounds, a lot of very usable sounds, and a lot of kind of really interesting stuff. And then you can pay, I think, and add on other stuff beyond, I think, what are about 60 or 70 libraries that you can put in it. So it's pretty huge. It's a really cool offering from what was Spitfire Audio. As I said, I think it's merged with Splice now, but it's still free and you can still grab it right now. It's an incredible offering for free. Has to go in the top in pluck, yeah. Let's move on. We've got Spitfire's BBC Orchestra. Let's just grab it here. I remember first getting this. I was like, what? Get this for free? That's very cool. Full orchestra for free. You have to do a sign up. As when I got it, you had to do the sign up and then I think wait 14 days. I don't really know why, but you had to wait for 14 days and then you got access to it. Whether that's the case still, I don't know. But I love that this says on my online notes, it's incredible value. Well, it's free. Cinematic and orchestral composers will be very happy with this one. It's not quite as pop friendly actually as the free Edirol Orchestral as I used to find it. I find it a little bit too drawn out cinematic, and even it's got those spiccato and pizzicato modes, I find it a bit harder to get the dramatic strings in. It was just kind of easier to be a little bit more creative, I found, with Edirol. But I mean, it sounds knockout, and it's all laid out as an orchestra pit would be. It's very easy to use, and yeah, I mean, it's free. If you want orchestra sounds and you want to get into composition, then it's free. I've got to put it up at the top. Pluck, yeah, Spitfire. Let's move on, and we're heading back to drums. And we've got Stephen Slate Drums 5, which is incredibly free, high quality acoustic drum kits used in real productions. You get a limited drum kit selection, but a very polished sound. This thing sounds great, really, really great. I think it's got to be the best sounding free kit offering out there. I think you get 3 kits though, which is more than enough. I mean, I'm happy with 1 kit as long as it sounds decent, and that this thing is for free. If you want some drums and you want to get started and you don't want to spend any money on them, and you want them to sound realistic, a realistic acoustic kit, this has got to be the one to go for. So for that reason, it's got to go at the top in pluck, yeah. And we move on to Surge. I've got to be honest with Surge. it frightens me. Extremely powerful open source synth with deep modulation and sound design potential. And I'm glad it says not beginner friendly. Well, I wouldn't put myself as a beginner, but I don't mind saying I find this thing really overwhelming. I do with a lot of synths, but this one's like, whoo, okay, how long have you got? I mean, of course it's going to have presets. I have tried it, but I didn't keep it for that reason. I just find it just a bit too much on my eyes and mind. But no doubts, if you don't have a decent synth and you don't have any money to spend on one, then you can get there with this one. I'm torn between definitely a keeper and half tempo hero. I'm gonna put it in definitely a keeper, although I uninstalled it because I preferred working with another plugin, which will be coming on a little bit later in this ranking video. Let's move on, and we've got T-Rex 606. Now here's a nutty little drum kit which really couldn't be simpler. You got 7 pads and that's it. And the reason I dropped this in was because I just really like this little kit. I use this all the time for sketching ideas. It's obviously, as you can see, crazy light. And just really easy to drop it in on projects, and it's just one which I've used so much. It's like having a bit of a battered old guitar. It's just a great little demo friend to have, so that's a personal one. T-Rex 606. I realise it's not the most exciting free one in the world, but great for sketching out ideas, and I think it sounds really cool. It sits there as a half tempo hero. Next up, we've got the rather incredible, drop this image down a bit, Volts. It's a free instrument platform from the Crow Hill Company, a growing collection of creative, character-driven instruments, piano, strings, guitars, percussion, synth, focused on vibe and inspiration rather than realism. It's along the lines of Labs. It's pretty exciting stuff, and it's well worth checking out. Volts from the Crow Hill Company. There's so much in there for free. It's definitely worth checking out, and we've got to put that in definitely a keeper. I haven't spent as much time with it as Labs, so I don't feel like I can put it up in Pluck Yeah, but I think I'm going to be checking out after this video because it looks really interesting. Next up, we've got Ticky Clav 2 from Together Audio. Another great plugin from them. It feels quite expensive. Now, I kind of get it, it's a bit niche. There's not many times where you're probably going to think, I wish I had a clavinet. But this does it very well. It's got that cool, funky, superstitious kind of sound about it. Physically modelled on the clavinet with funk and wah style tones. Perfect for funk, soul and classic keyboard parts. It just sounds very premium. It sounds like you paid for it. And I really like it. Definitely a keeper because it's still sitting there in my instrument bin. Moving on to Tyrell number 6. Probably my favourite free synth based on like an analog synth. Let's see what it says online. Classic analog style subtractive synth. Sounds great, easy to use and very CPU friendly. For all those reasons, that's why I just jumped for this synth above any other, and it just doesn't confuse my brain as much as lots of others. I'm a bit of a preset warrior when it comes to synths too, and this has loads of super usable presets. The sounds sound very warm and round, and I think it's an absolute belter. It's got to go up in Pluck Yeah. And we move on to our final instrument plugin of this ranking list, and that is also from Yuhi, another synth, the Zebralette, a wavetable synth based on Zebra. Lightweight but deep, great for modern sound design and textures. Absolutely up there with Tyrell number 6. Another great, quite easy to use synth. If that's your bag like me, then this one's well worth grabbing. Grab both of those. You've got a lot of synth sounds covered. Again, it's definitely a keeper. And that's my list. Not one down in Keytastrophe. I think I was quite kind to some of the DSK plugins. Some of those, I remember they have an acoustic guitar one, which should definitely be in that Keytastrophe. But I've been kind to DSK. I put them in strung out because for their services to home studio owners. Okay, what do you make of that list? What did I miss out? Do you agree with these rankings? Let me know some of your favorite instrument plugins in the comments box below. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Most importantly, my friend, go and have yourself a great day.